I'm Mary McPherson and I'm 19. I go to Lakehead University in Thunder Bay. I'm looking to double a major in visual arts and indigenous learning, if that would be possible, but yeah. I'm half Ojibwe and I'm half Irish, so yeah, I'm a status Indian. Basically, ever since I could hold a pencil, I've been drawing and, exploring with painting and stuff like that. And obviously now that I'm attending university for it, the broad of mediums that I'm using is expanding. So I guess my style used to be more into focused into realism. Now it's starting to change a bit more. It's starting to evolve more to, I'm learning about abstract art and starting to focus more that way. It goes through different processes. I feel like it evolves all the time, and that's probably the only truth about it. I always pursue themes that I identify with. So a lot of the time it's me exploring my identity and how I fit in Canada as a status Indian, and I'm always kind of exploring what's going on in my mind and then putting it into the physical realm by drawing or whatever, and exploring who I am and how I fit into the world around me. So by themes, I would probably say usually indigenous issues and issues that I'm having to explore and deal with. A big statement piece for me to make, I created a piece with a non-native wearing a headdress and an indigenous person wearing a mitre hat. I feel like that piece took 2 months, and it was a really, it wasn't just a process within the piece, it was a process outside of the piece in learning about myself and where I come from. And it was focused mainly on, the inspiration was, I was always attending powwows when I was a kid through the elementary schools, but they never ever taught about residential schools or the 60s scoop, and I was like, oh, what is this? But then it evolved more, and I feel like that piece was a really big, a foundation for what I started to work from. Throughout high school, I was kind of told, don't do art all the time. I would be in the back of the math class doing art, and the teacher would be like, stop that! And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep doing it. And so it was kind of a rebellious action, but I needed it to explore who I was, because at that time I was really confused and I was hearing a lot of racism around me, and I was like, oh, well, where do I stand in this? Because this is how I've been taught that I am. And so that's how it kind of went down. A lot of the time, the dinner time conversations as well, through my teen years, I was like, I don't want to sit at the table, but it kept being a forced thing, which was good, because my parents would talk about a lot of things that would spark inspiration and spark me questioning things that were going on around me, and I feel like that was a really important thing for them to do. My dad is currently chair of the Indigenous Learning Program at Lakehead.
I have one of her drawings in my office at the university that she did when I think she was about maybe 4 or 5 years old, and then I have another one when she was about grade 9, and then another one fairly recently. So you can see some of her progression from basically stick people to quite intricate work at the present time. So she's evolved over a long period of time.
I feel like art is very, very important for me to fight the oppression of Indigenous peoples. I feel like everyone has their own way of fighting this oppression. For me, art has been my way of fighting it. It's been making the statement and having people look at it and kind of think, oh, I didn't think of that, or whatever. It's in the content, but it's a matter of displaying the content so that someone can actually get something out of it, and that's a really hard thing to do. I've had a lot of people interpret things in really, really, thankfully, really good ways, and they'd see things such as like cross assimilation, I've had the most input on, because it kind of went around, and you know, people would kind of recognize it for what it is, but take out different meanings from it, which is really cool. That's, I think, probably my favorite part of doing that. I've been recognized for my art because I submitted to the Aboriginal Arts and Stories competition, and I was like, oh, I might as well do this. A couple of people told me to do it. I was like, cool. So I did, and I won first place for the drawing, and that was pretty extraordinary. It was an amazing opportunity to get to experience what the art world is kind of about. So there was an opening in Toronto, and got to check that out. And then through that, I won the Governor General History Award. So I got to go to Ottawa and Rideau Hall and check out that and see the amazing art there. And it was a really neat experience. So I feel pretty rewarded for that. Nature plays a part in the philosophies in which I come from. So that's what I like. I explore where I come from and what I'm trying to take from that. And so because nature comes from, it's a very strong part of the indigenous philosophies, which were here before colonization. I feel like our worldview has to be recognized in order for us to kind of like save humanity, really. I mean, so yeah, nature does play a part in my art, because that's what, you know, it's what I'm exploring. It's such a strong part of the place where I come from, you know, so I can't really tell where my art will be or eventually end up. I know that it's like essential to my identity, and I'm like really like, it's, you know, so like I live for it basically. So I feel like it'll take its own path. I can't really determine that. I don't really know. I don't have the power to say. So I'm working to keep expanding my work, and to keep like learning about what I can influence to it, but I don't know where it will go. That's not up to me, I don't think. It's up to the art itself.